G'day, my name's Darryl Webb. Today we're going to have a look at the Discovery Optics ED PRS 4-20x52 SFIR. This is an ED glass, extra low dispersion glass, set up for PRS type rifle, so precision rifle shooting. It's basically it has a zero stop, it's in mil radians, lots of adjustability and high quality optics at meant to be what's an affordable price. I'll do an unboxing. I've actually filmed all this stuff already, but anyway, I unboxed it before I used it. I took it out and used it on the 223. I used it on the 17 HMR. Just did some load development on the 223 and just some checking some things that were going on with my 17 HMR. And let's just say with 20 times zoom and very repeatable and accurate dialing, it really lets you see a bit about your firearms. And I've been quite surprised with this scope, how good it is for the dollars. Alright, let's get into that. Okay, they also sent me these scope rings. These are a one-piece mount, but it's actually got 20 MOA of camp built into it. So on my 223 and my air rifle, because I use a lot of thermal optics, I've just bought 0 MOA rails, just so the crosshair doesn't end up in the middle of nowhere. So this is really handy to be able to buy these with the camp built in. So if you're in a bit more long distance shooting, but you mix your same rifle up with thermal or night vision optics, then you can actually buy a 20 MOA rail. I think they do a 30 MOA as well. It all seems nicely made and whatnot. But I'll mount it up with this and I'll try this, and I'll also try it with the rings that are provided, just so we can see if they really do give you 20 MOA of trouble there, but I'm pretty sure they do, because I can pretty much see the cant in them. Alright, so sort of how it comes. It's a ED PRS 4-20x52 SFIR 34mm. First focal plane. That's pretty much all there is on the box. Now I have had this out, but I didn't do too much with it because I wanted you guys to be able to see what sort of unmolested. Alright, we've got chamois cloth. Discovery Optics, so this comes with all the details on there. That's handy. I did notice they have a pretty comprehensive quality control check on there, and you can look up everything sort of through there and what they've done and what they've checked. Pretty cool, I haven't seen that before. There is a user manual, but I sort of found it's pretty generic. It's just sort of about scopes in general and different terminology and what it means. So it's not necessarily specifically about this actual scope, it's just a generic how to sight things in, how to use them. Anyway, nice that it's there. These are some a scope leveling kit. It pretty much is put this underneath the scope, and it's got wedges there with the angle built in, and you level it up to the Picatinny rail. That's pretty cool. I haven't ever used a set of them, but I'll test them when I set them up on the gun. You also get a set of high scope mounts as well. It's 34mm. These actually feel pretty good. I will use these just so I can do a comparison to that 20 MOA rail, but these actually look pretty good. It's got a 52mm lens, so the barrel is reasonably big, so high is not a bad choice, because then you can, and that'll fit everyone's rifle on high. What else in there? We've got a little Allen key, and we've got just a little, like a camera lens kit. It's got a smudge remover and a felt brush for get rid of dust and things like that. It's neat that they included that as well. Very nice. I don't think you should ever really pay too much for freebies, because then you get less of the quality of scope. But in this price range, this scope seems pretty good. So these are sunshades. It sort of appears they've got two shorter ones and a longer one. It's pretty excessive, to be honest, but I would use up to this if you ever find yourself in a competition. You've got no choice but to shoot into the sun sometimes, so this would be handy. If you really wanted to go the whole hog, you could make it much longer, probably longer than it needs to be, but no dramas about that. Now last but not least, the scope. Oh, I'll move this out of the way here now a bit. I'll just bring that focus back in. Alright, so the scope. So I'm going to get it out of this bag. It does come all nicely packaged. I said I have had a little play with it. Let's just say it feels like it's built like a tank. There is a little removable throw lever there, which I did screw on. There's pretty much a rubber eyepiece cap on the back, which you can stick on the side so you don't lose it, and a flip open style cap at the front. It feels it's okay. It doesn't feel up to the same quality as the rest of the scope. The rest of the scope has actually quite surprised me. It has got on there your parallax error all the way down to 20 meters. It's smooth. You have got illumination, and it's got on off, so you can go through, you can have it right next to your favourite brightness and just not having to screw through too far. Just go straight to your favourite brightness and then back off. That's nice. It's got a fast diopter on there. It won't move by itself, it's stiff enough, but very, very smooth. The actual zoom there, the zoom is, when I first got it out, it was quite stiff. But now I've been sort of throwing it backwards and forwards, we're just fiddling with it, it's loosened up a little bit. But as I say, that won't move by accident either, I won't imagine. But it's very, very smooth. What else is on there? Alright, we got a 0-stop type turret, so it's not a locking turret, it's no pulling it up and down. So if you want to use this as a hunting rifle where you're going to pack it in, you would have to make sure that's before you take a shot that it's at 0. That's a 0-stop. So as I said, this is aimed at PRS, but anyone who knows, a lot of these type of scopes do find their way into the hills for taking long shots across gullies. And this one here with these big oversized turrets and that, it weighs in, I believe it was just over 1.1 kilos. It's not excessively heavy for what it is, and with its zoom range of 4 all the way through to 20, and with a 52mm lens, it's sort of, it's going for, it should still do quite good in low light, but it's not excessive. You haven't got a giant 56mm lens there, which is probably over the top for taking into the hills. But that's sort of it. It's very, very clicky, smooth, 0-stop. Obviously you lock that in, so then you can wind all the way back down, and it's locked when it's back at 0. And Allen keys on these ones, so you can slide that off and put it back once you've got the scope slotted in, and a threaded style screwdriver slot on the top. The quality of the optics and everything looks nice, and the fit and finish is quite good. This is marked up because I've been touching it with dusty hands, but I can already see it's a matte finish, and it looks like it's well made and quite substantial. Nothing cheap or junky feeling about it at all. With its ED glass, it should be super clear, so we'll check that out. Alright, so we've got the scope set up here. I'm going to put this camera I'm using now behind it to try and capture some good clear images through the scope. But I've got all the way down the end of the river down there. There is a 200 metre away. I'm going to guess it's probably 250 metres, maybe a bit more. It's hard to tell over water sometimes, it can trick you. But there's a can over there on top of that log. We'll check that out and we'll see how it goes. Okay, that's it at 20 power. You can see up there on the very left hand side of the log, that is a little can just to give you some perspective. And what I'll do is I'll try and wind this back. These are both mounted on tripod, so it's going to move around a bit. That's back to 12 power. You can sort of see what's happening there. So it's sort of got the reticle in focus. I'm not sure how the picture looks, I'm just looking at it through the camera, it's a bit hard to tell. But looking at it with by eye, the image is very, very sharp. And it's got a lot of sharpness to the image. And this is quite a dull day, and we're towards the end of the day, so this is very typical of when you would really hunt. It's no use taking it out in the bright day because even cheap scopes will do good then. So as the light gets a bit lower, where they really earn their stripes to the more expensive scopes. Let's bring it back down a bit lower. Let's bring it into about 8. It's about 8 power. as you can see there. I'll just change that focus. I'm not sure if it needs it or not, but we will. It gives you an idea. You can see the size of the reticle. It's just getting smaller as we're zooming out. Let's bring it all the way down from 8 to 4 to its base mag. And that is it at 4. I said that the Canon in that log is a bit over 200 metres. You've got the laser rangefinder, and it is a bit over 200 metres, 207 or something, I think. I've just set the parallax on the scope of 200. The marks on the scope do match up with the actual real distance. And moving your head around or the camera around, I can see there's no parallax error at that distance with it set to 200. So parallax works good. And we'll just wind it back up again, just to show that again. We'll bring it back up to probably a distance, a zoom magnification that you would really use. I typically, if I want to use like 15, 16 power, I would buy a 20, 18 or a 20 power scope. I very rarely use scopes at the maximum magnification. Alright, so that's at 16 there. Let's refocus that. The reason I say that is just because at their higher levels, the eye box and that sometimes can get a little bit small. This one is no different. It's a tiny bit tight, the eye box at that distance, but sort of from 16 and down, the eye box is actually huge. It's very easy to get your head in a good position and get a good sight, a good picture. Let's touch that focus again. So yeah, that is a very, very clear image, and maybe on the very tiny outside edges, or right around the very, very outside edges, there's maybe I can see a little bit, it's not quite as sharp, but the price bracket that this thing's in, it's very surprising how sharp it is. And ED glass is meant to be low color fringing, chromatic aberration, and I must admit it's doing a very good job at that. And it would, to be honest, it looks like I'm looking for an optic that probably costs twice as much as this, maybe even a bit more. So it's doing very, very good. No complaints about the image at all. Nice and sharp, and I would happily use this right out to, I'll do it again, right out to 20 power. Even at 20 power, that is a very sharp image. With a large eye box. Yeah, it's very nice. Pros and cons. Actually, I'll start off with, because they did send me out a set of 20mm one-piece scope rings. So it's got 20 MOA of cant built in, and I have to say they're quite nice. When I use these, I sighted the rifle in with just the standard supplied rings, and then I switched to these, and I had to come up, I think it was about 6.5 mils. So that's very, very close to 20 MOA. So yeah, I do like them. They're actually really affordable, and even taking on and off the rifle, it did seem to return to zero, so they must be reasonably well made. If there was any cons, the only thing I'd like is, for the average shooter, you don't need it offset so much. It'd be nice if it was just, directly below the scope. It just makes it so your scope end up a little bit more forward than what you need. I understand why they do that, AR shooters and things like that, but just for a normal bolt action rifle, it'd be nice if there was an option for it to just be forward a bit more, this bit of the base. With that said, I was able to use it, and I didn't struggle, because this actually has quite a long eye relief, and so if you're combining it with this scope, it's not an issue. So that was sort of it for those rings. Yeah, I actually like them. I use 0 MOA rails just because I use a lot of thermal and night vision equipment, and being electronic, if all of a sudden you've got 20 MOA you have to dial out of the electronic, you'll end up with your crosshair sort of right down low in the screen. So I usually run 0 MRA rails. So this was good, so I could run a 0 MOA rail, but I could also, if I wanted to do some long distance stuff, I could stick this 20 MOA mount on, and it's like having a 20 MOA rail. I think they make it in a 30 MOA as well, so quite nice. Anyway, we'll go on to the pros and cons of the scope. I'll start off with some pros. The build quality, it seems really nice. All the dials in it are very clicky, and the tracking is very accurate from what I could see. I didn't do extensive testing, but just once I sort of found a load the other day when I was doing a bit of load development work, I quickly sort of dialed up across the right, back down, and across the left up, and it returned straight back to 0. So I was doing that at 175 meters, but the tracking seemed very good, and no complaints there. The fact that it's got a proper 0 stop in this dollar range, dollar wise, these things probably, I had a look on the Australian market, some sellers that were selling them here, and they sort of up around $800 Australian for this guy. You might find it cheaper somewhere else, you might find it a bit more expensive, and it goes up and down of course with the how the Australian dollar's doing, so I'll just sort of leave it at that for now. Sort of in that $700-800 mark, about $800 I've seen at the moment. For that, you don't normally, for that kind of dollars, you don't normally get 0 stops on that. You know, normally got to jump up to a fair bit more scope, a fair bit more dollars to get that. Quality of the glass, because that's probably what a lot of people are interested in when you're looking for stuff like this. I'm not a glass snob, but I do appreciate good glass, and I know what it looks like. The lens on that camera that you're seeing me through right now is like a $1,400 lens. When you need to spend money to get good optics, it does cost a lot of money to get that extra 10-20%. And my impressions of this, I felt like I was using a scope that's pretty much at least twice the dollars. I'm not saying it's as good as a $3,000 German optic, but I felt like I was sort of up comparing it to something that's sort of in that $1,500 to $2,000 range even. So it was quite surprising, the quality of the glass. There's a little tiny bit of the sharpness falls off right around the outside edge, but it's pretty far out, and it doesn't even fall off that much. So some of those bigger brands have to have a look over their shoulder, because some of the stuff that's coming out of Asia now is getting quite sharp. I'm not sure who's making their lenses for them, but whoever it is they're good quality lenses. Chromatic aberration is very minimal, even on really contrasty stuff. There's very little fringing, and the image looked good. Clear enough. Today I was just trying the 17 HMR out, and this is at 100 meters, and I can call those shots plain as day. And the little 17 HMR is only a tiny little hole, but at 100 meters I can see them no worries whatsoever. So the quality of the optic is good, the glass. The reticle, and that's very functional. It's sort of standard Christmas tree reticle, and it's very useful, and it lets you, you can work out your wind holds and that using that reticle. So yeah, there's not too much else I could sort of say in the pros, just that everything it says in the box, it does, and it does it pretty well. So yeah, let's go on to cons. Only con I had, and it seems to have backed off a bit now, was when I first got it out of the packet. This focus ring was stiffer than it needed to be. It was quite firm, and I thought, geez, it might stiffen up even more when it's colder weather. But now I've been using it for a little bit. Mosquitoes are chasing me there. It's not an issue. It was always very smooth. It was just a bit tighter than I'd like it. Yeah, someone with small hands might have had trouble nearly adjusting it. But now it's being used. It's sort of had it on a couple of guns and given it a few goes. There's no worries about that. It's still very smooth. It's just loosened up a lot now. Cons wise, front cap. I know this isn't that important, but it feels a little bit cheap. The whole scope feels such high quality. It's sort of a bit of a shame to put something that, like, it's functional, it works, and I haven't broken it, but it's compared to the rest of the scope, it's a little bit junky. And that's probably about it for the cons. The quick diopter and everything worked. I was able very quickly to get a nice clean image out of it, and everything is resettable. So once you've sighted it in, you can undo the Allen keys in here and put it back to 0 on there, and the same with the top. And then it's also got a 0 stop you engage, and the parallax adjustment. putting it on the tripod, moving my head side to side, I found the parallax adjustment to actually match what's on the dial, so that's good. You can range find something 300 or 400 meters and just set it to that 300 or 400 meters, and parallax is gone. So that's very good. A lot of times they don't match on some of the cheaper scopes. The fact that they throw a little throw lever in too, that was quite good. Maybe I'm easily impressed. That's probably about it for the pros as well. Let's go on to conclusion. If I was getting into long range shooting and I was trying to do it on a half reasonable budget, like, don't get me wrong, these aren't cheap. You know, these aren't $99 on eBay or Amazon. These are, you know, still a fair bit of an outlay. But for its features, it's playing in with scopes that cost probably twice as much. So I would put this as a real contender if I was on a bit of a budget, and let's face it, we all are these days. I would recommend this one for that type of thing. I also liked it for what I was using it for, like load development and that. The ability to zoom in to 20 and still have a reasonable size eye box, and the clarity of the glass. The fact that I can spot these, I actually know what's going on. You know, I'm not finding, even at 175 meters with a 223. So it's just a 22 caliber hole. I can see them quite clearly. I sort of know what's happening without having to walk down the range, which is good. So for things like that, I found it quite useful. I haven't sort of dealt with Discovery Optics before. I haven't used any of their stuff. I was quite surprised by it. Actually, it was substantially better than I thought it was going to be. And they were a good brand to work with. Just to put that into context, a lot of brands, sometimes they really want you to say specific things, and they were pretty much like, here, take this, give us a good honest review, good or bad. And I was like, oh, all right. So you know, it means they do stand sort of behind their product. They've got a fair bit of faith in it. As you've seen in the unboxing, you know, they do good quality control checking it, and it's great warranty, and everything you need plus a few extras is in that one package. So yeah, that's it. That's my conclusion. If you're looking for something at a reasonable price, check these out. Make sure you do. I don't think you'd be unhappy if you purchase one. And for anything I've used it for, admittedly I haven't used it at extreme long range yet. I've actually been really happy with it, and it's, as I said, surpassed my expectations. Yeah. Anyway, on that note, if you want to get your hands on one of these, I'll leave some links in the description so you can check them out. I said what the prices I said, they could be wrong because things change so fast these days. But yeah, I'll put some links in the description, and I will give you an update if anything sort of happens with it in the future, good or bad. So far, everything's grouse. So anyway, again, on that note, I'll leave it at that. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you like content like this, hit the subscribe button. Okay, bye for now.